Hello everyone and welcome to another Historic video. So today we'll be taking a look at 4-color Primal Prayers deck in Historic format. So this list comes from Greenwire. He's been working on this deck ever since we got this new card from Final Fantasy set called the Starting Town, which is just going to be our extra copies of Mana Confluence in the deck, which does enable some very degenerate deck with being able to play just any color that we want. So without the 4th color, we had some trouble getting to our Primal Prayers. However, that becomes completely fixed now because we can just play any color that we want. So in this deck in particular, we're playing 2 copies of Crucias, which can guarantee you getting a Primal Prayers. Otherwise, this deck can also play 4 copies of Assembled on Team, which can also find Crucias or Primal Prayers. So this deck is just going to be Tutor City into a combo immediately. Otherwise, this deck can also play Jarsoul because of that 4th color, letting you get back things like Thoughtseizes, Fragment Reality, or even combo pieces such as Guide of Soul. And because our deck is playing 4 copies of Abundant Harvest, as part of our land base, we are only playing 20 land in the deck, so the Abundant Harvest can fuel for either a land, if you can't seem to draw another land, or the Abundant Harvest can grab you a non-land card, which can potentially be another combo piece. Another perk with the Jarsoul here is that if you run out the Sigardian Evangel early, because the Evangel conjures a card into your hand and discards it at the beginning of the end step, the Jarsoul can grab the extra Evangel that gets conjured and discarded into the graveyard. So even if you run out the Evangel early, for example a tempo play, you can grab back the Evangel from the graveyard in the future turns, or even if you top deck of Primal Prayers, you can even initiate comboing because the Jarsoul is going to be able to get back the Evangel. And as for infamous Sora matchups, we do have 3 copies of Containment Priest, and 2 copies of Clarion Conqueror, and 2 copies of Pithing Needle, which should be pretty good against them. And what's really cool about the Containment Priest in the deck is that it doesn't stop our combo here. Both the Primal Prayers and Jarsoul lets you cast a card for 0 mana, so it actually bypasses the Containment Priest, only affecting your opponent's Sorin, which is essentially going to be the goal here. And not to mention, with the Containment Priest coming out, the Fragment Reality that we have does get better. So honestly, I'm pretty excited to try this deck out. So hence that, I'm going to be hopping over to some Historic Best of 3 to show you guys how the deck does. So let's hop on over. Alright. White and black. I think I wanna Thoughtseize. Okay. I think Fragment Reality might be bad. They probably play Ornithopter. Okay, Springleaf Drum. Yeah, we'll see if they play Ornithopter or not. They do. Non-land. I think I might just get rid of this right now. Right. We do actually have the combo right now. Like, we can combo off next turn. Also, Clarion Conqueror. Absolutely insane. Same with the Calling Ritual. Actually, is Calling Ritual that good? It's only non-land permanents. Like, sure, it can get rid of drums and stuff like that. But not their big creatures. I mean, we can try it out to see how it does. Gonna go down on a Recruiter. Maybe a copy of a Crucias. Maybe no to one copy of a Calling Ritual. And maybe a Fragment Reality. Esper Sentinel. Esper Sentinel. Into an Emery. Pretty good start. Ooh. Okay, so I think here's a plan. We play the, Thoughtseize. So currently the Dawnmother costs 5 mana. They get back an Esper Sentinel or something like that. Thoughtcast costs 3 mana. I think we get rid of a Thoughtcast. And then we hold and go to Clarion Conquer, which will turn off literally everything. Ooh, they found a... Wait, they can't play that because of a... Okay. So we go Clarion Conquer. Turns off literally everything. No Emerys. No Razortide Bridge. Pretty insane. So white and green. I should have called red, actually. Null please. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. We do have to find the Primal Prayers pretty fast. Or maybe even Calling Ritual. Oh, that's bad news because now they have a clock. Now they have a clock. Nolan, please. Stop giving me Jarso. Stop. Yeah, why do they shock? -2 life? I think I'm just going to keep blocking with Jarso here. Why didn't they attack? Okay. Interesting. Just rushing out a bunch of cards so I can, gain some life. Right, so I do think I want to keep the Clarion Conqueror back for the Thought Monitor. And I want to block with the Jarsoul to cap a Cannoneer. And this way, Jarsoul can grab back the Guardian Evangel. So they're going to be able to attack for 6 damage here. But I think we can race them. Honestly. Okay, Crucias was a good draw. Can we race them? Attack a bunch. It's a lot of attackers. So block. Okay, that's a lot less things on the battlefield. And realistically, the Kappa Cannoneer won't be able to, you know, grow to like 10 power, so... Okay, we win. I'm not even sure if Primal Prayers was needed, but... Basically over here. Yeah, we didn't even need the combo. GG's. Alright, so I think this is keepable. We have a lot of white mana lands, so I'm hoping that the Abundant Harvest grabs one of the, you know, prismatic lands. Land, please. Thank you. Like I said. A freaking Mausoleum Wanderer. Interesting. A Thalia. Whenever another spirit you control enters... I mean, we just go Crucias here, right? So what does this say? Only instant speed and sorcery spells. Okay, so... Seems like they could have like that 3 mana spirit. I'm just gonna do this. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was gonna be a spell caller. So I can't play this because Mausoleum Wanderer can counter it. Oh wow. Maybe I should have gone lesser. So this is a collect a company, right? Should I try to still force it? Let's see what happens. Because Mausoleum Wanderer can't counter this. Hmm. So they had a rattle chain. Might actually get aggroed down here if I can't resolve this Primal Prayers. Yeah, because of the Dahlia, the random Dahlia in the deck, even though it's a spirit deck, it's actually taxing my cards so much. Yeah, I think I just have to try to resolve the Primal Prayers. In that deck, I think they have to have exactly a Spell Pierce, like another Spell Pierce, or a Spell Queller. I think opponent might be thinking about whether to use a Collect the Company. Thinking maybe they can kill me. We'll see. Right, last attempt. It lands. Oh, I was hoping for God of Soul. Okay. That lands. Rattle Chain. It was a Rattle Chain. Okay, I think we won. Wow. Okay. That was a close one. That was a close one. I think Thoughtseize is still good for landing our combos. I can see myself having some Fatal Push though. I want to go down on Fragment Reality instead. And I'm gonna go down on maybe more expensive spells. Because they have Thalia and Mausoleum Wonder. Like, we want creature spells, right? Instead of a non-creature spells. Like, maybe an Assemble the Team. Tutor spells are so good, though. But, I mean, it might be just... Because of Jar Soul, I can't see myself going down on Assemble the Team. It needs to be either a Recruiter. Yeah, I'll try this. 7 copies. Hopefully that's enough. Boom. Mausoleum Wonder. Right, I think I'm just going to play around the Mausoleum Wonder. Okay. I don't know, maybe it's like too frugal. I am taking a lot of damage. This is that 3 mana card, Spirit, Spellcaller. Maybe I need to force this out. Opponent to sacrifice a Mausoleum Wonder. I need to slow things down, you know? I'm kind of hoping opponent sacrifices Mausoleum Wonder here. Okay, so I'm actually going to grab Desert Sea Knot because I'm taking a bit too much damage. I think I'm just going to run out some Evangels, maybe? Never mind. I think we lost. Unless we top deck Primal Prayers. Primal Prayers? One time? Yeah, we win the game if I top deck Primal Prayers here. Alright, one time. Boom. Well, that can still be a Primal Prayers. Why did they put an upkeep stop? They have a full control on right now. Right. Abundant Harvest. Primal Prayers? Green, white. So we lost, right? Let's see if I could have gone one. Nope. Okay. What if I played some flyers? Alright, we got Fragment Reality. I'll start with the God of Soul. And then Abundant Harvest. Okay, they have a spell Pierce. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Alright, so the cards that I don't want to see, probably this card, right? Let that stick. Jarsel. That's actually really good. Because we have a Fragment Reality. But then they could have, they could just pierce it, so we'll see. Land was really good because now I can go, Evangel twice. Yeah, I think the plan is to aggro opponent down now. Otawara. Okay, gain some life. So if I draw land, we can play the Evangel 3 times. Very good draw. Yeah, we have a very good draw here. So that's their last card. That means we can win almost guaranteed here, probably. That's funny. We do have the combo here. But I think it's just better to do this and just win the game. Alright, opponent, GG's. Alright, we got a Loris player. I'm gonna guess it's like maybe Aura? This hand's too slow, right? Maybe? We'll see. We'll see. Okay, it's not an Aura deck. I kind of want to play Thoughtseize here because I have a Jarsoul. Double Fragment Reality. It's gonna be a little bit ouch. But I think I have to still grab the Goblin Bombardment. So they're gonna leave up a Fragment Reality here. I'm still gonna go with the Jarsoul because we get a card. Oh. Good top deck. Good top deck. Let's grab a land. And we're gonna go into assembled team. Wait, why can't I put this in? Is this just revealed? How is it revealed? Okay. It's a bummer that we couldn't get a Primal Prayer there because I think we might have won the game otherwise. I think I'll run out Jarsoul next turn to bait out Fragment Reality. So I think right now my plan is to get the Primal Prayers with this next assembled team. I don't think I'm gonna die anytime soon. The opponent finding a land there is very, very important because now they can play another Voice of Victory while leaving up a Fragment Reality. Yeah, because now I'm taking 6 damage, right? It's a very important draw for them. I'm just taking a bit too much damage. Alright. Okay. I think I might have to play this out as a blocker. And I'm going to play another one. Out of Soul. So I go to 1. Ah, what a draw. All right. So calling rituals, fragment, fatal push, and and 2 cups of Stone of Barrack. Thoughtseize in this matchup is pretty bad. You don't want it to be taking damage. Same with Crucias because of Goblin Bombardment. It's pretty bad. I'll just go down on Recruiter. Everything looks pretty good. I want to keep the tutor spells right. All right. Gonna be taking a bit damage here. So I think we just want to get to our calling ritual as fast as possible. We're gonna just grab a land here. That's kind of insane that they got on their Amped Raptor to pump the Guide of Souls there. I'm gonna play one of my Guide of Soul. And then I'm going to draw with Stone of Barrack. So I can potentially draw another land here. Two mana also the Pride. Okay. I'm gonna draw. Ouch, no land. That is not where you want to be. That is definitely not where you want to be. And considering that opponent also plays a bolt in that deck, this is very bad news. I think we lost. I was really banking on drawing a land there. Rip. Oh yeah. I think that's probably over. Because even if I top deck a land, I'd have to shock, right? So... So, what have we learned from that game? I think we have to mulligan towards a removal spell. Considering that we play 7 copies of it, I think I should have mulliganed. Okay, pretty good hand with the Thoughtseize. And starting town. Looks like this is a mono green. We have a mono green situation. It's not a mono green. It is not a mono green. Alright, so... I think we'll get rid of a Null Drifter. Maybe I'll, like, rush out 2 Guide Up Souls. Or should I play the Assembled Team? So I can play Thoughtseize next turn with the Assembled Team? Doesn't seem too bad. So we got a Primal Prayers. I think I should pick that up. Okay, Fragment Reality was actually a pretty good draw because now I can go 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I go Fragment Reality here, they're not going to be able to play their 7-mana card even if they top deck it next turn. So probably do this. I lied. I'll play Thoughtseize because this is interaction spell that they can play next turn. I'm gonna pass. Oh, wow. Because then they can't play their 7-mana card. So this is not a 7-mana card. So we need to just find a land. And we win the game. Can they play that next turn? Alright. Play Primal Prayers. Play Soul Guide, God of Soul. Play another God of Soul. Guardian Evangel. Alright, GG's. Okay, so I think Clarion Conqueror comes in. This card is very good against them. I think that's it. I mean, maybe Stone of Eric to exile their graveyard. But that's really about it. I'm gonna go down on a copy of a Recruiter. And maybe 2 Fragment Realities. I mean, it's really good for disrupting ramp. I'll do this. Boom. I do think this is a pretty good matchup though. We just combo and we just win, right? And they can't really win the game before we combo kind of situation. Alright, so we have a pretty decent hand. We can Abundant Harvest for a land. Or because we drew a Thoughtseize, maybe playing a Thoughtseize here makes more sense. Alright. So I think we go Null Drifter. Get rid of a Null Drifter. And I'll go Thoughtseize into Abundant Harvest. We probably want to land. Let's cast this first in case we can get non-pain land. Nice. So they got an Emrakul. So currently there is a creature in there. And then this is going to be an instant speed. I'm just going to get rid of that because it's just trouble. And now I'm going to go Jarsoul. Grab back another Thoughtseize if I can. Oh, they just drew Ugin Kozilek's Command. It's pretty good, actually. Okay, my plan backfired because now they're gonna be able to potentially cast an Emrakul next turn. Oh, they drew. What? That can't be right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They would have 8. No, this is still 10 mana. We want non-land. The halfling aggro is real right now. So we got a Primal Prayers. So they have to win here. Or have an interaction spell. Opponent finds a Torpor Orb. That is very, very good. So now I have to find a Fragment Reality. That was actually really clutch. And speaking of clutch, oh my god, opponent. That is so sad. That is so sad. Man. That is crazy. Alright, GG's opponent. Actually, there is, I guess, a way for an opponent to recover? Is there not? Because I can combo next turn, right? If they're banking on Kozilek's commanding on their turn, and then Ugin's binding, it's still not gonna work, right? Because I get to just recast the Primal Prayers next turn. So then they'd have to have this loop where they have to have Kozilek's command every single turn. I'm just gonna go to 20 life and just pass. I mean, that's not technically true. Because I guess if they, let's say they Kozilek's command, I play the Sigardian Evangel, right? And it goes to my hand. And then the board wipe happens from the Ugin's binding, and then bounce everything. Then I would lose the Sigardian Evangel. So, oh no, but it bounces every other Sigardian Evangel, which is, because this is an alchemy card, it still goes to my hand. It's not a token. Okay, so it actually wouldn't have mattered. So this is, if they can't stop it, they just lose the game. Alright, so we went 5-1 with this deck. Since it's a Green Wires deck, it's gonna be pretty much fine-tuned for the latter play. And, yeah, it was really good. It was really good. I will say, because of Mana Confluence and starting Town, you are starting to take a little bit more damage. So, against decks that are really fast, for example, we played against an energy deck that was slightly faster because they were even playing things like burn spells, like Lightning Helix, which I kind of like, by the way. I actually think the Lightning Helix tech is pretty sweet because they play things like Also the Pride. So even though they're playing Loris and they don't have a Flage, they do have a Lightning Helix to proc their Also the Pride, things like that. So I think it's a pretty sweet tech opponent's doing. And on top of that, because they played Lightning Helix, we died a little bit faster than usual. So definitely got punished for playing 8 copies of Painlands like these. Otherwise, I think the deck was very sweet. I'll probably have the one I lost in like middle of the pack in the video, but it was actually my second game that I played. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the first game which I won, first match which I won, and you'll probably start seeing match 3 and onwards. So the reason why this deck is so good in current metagame is because 1, Eldrazi is popular, 2, Sorin decks are popular, 2 of which are kind of mid-range decks that don't really kill you very fast, right? So if you're expecting those kind of decks, this kind of deck where you have that combo just outright killing you instantly, even if there is nothing on the board because you played Primal Prayers. And against Sorin decks, we do have a very good sideboard plan with 3 copies of Containment Priest and 2 copies of Clearing Conquerors, along with 2 copies of Pitting Needle as well. It is a lot of sideboard cards to bring in, and that really puts into perspective how powerful Sorin decks are in Historic Ladder at the moment. So you have a pretty good shot at beating them, but even then, they can go crazy with Belmerk plus, Dollmaker, things like that, with Velia. If they do hit the nuts, they hit the nuts. Like, there's really no stopping it. If we had Containment Priest that also affected tokens, it would be really good. I feel like the Containment Priest has been kind of getting power crapped a little bit. I wish this said if a creature would enter and it wasn't cast, exile instead. So hopefully in the future we'll get something like this, because... And another thing that I really like about this deck compared to the ones that I played is that the Crucias always gets you Primal Prayers. And I think that's really, really busted. I think the deck was sweet, but I do see some matchup weaknesses against like super fast decks like the Energy deck, especially considering that we have a Mana Confluence and starting a Town. Plus, I think the deck might struggle against Aura decks and against the Blue-White Flash, plus Lotus Field combo deck, you might struggle against as well. So anything that has to do with like stopping like Enter the Battle effect triggers, playing 1 card per turn, things like that. But besides that, this deck probably has a pretty good chance of winning versus like any like rogue decks. Plus, like I said, Eldrazi matchup seems really good. And Sorin decks probably should be decent. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye.